Hello. So Convict 13 is a Buster Keaton short film. It was released in 1920. It is directed by Edward Cline and Buster Keaton. Now this film also has Sybil Seeley. She appears alongside Buster Keaton. I am a fan of Sybil Seeley. I love the chemistry that she has with Buster. She has done quite a few other films with Buster Keaton, and I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love watching the two of them together. So. But yeah, I really adore watching them. But anyway, yeah. So Sybil Seeley is in this film, and when it comes to the film itself, Buster is a golfer and he is terrible at what he does. He is just I mean, it's like the Happy Gilmore of 1920s. And you can be upset with me for making that comparison, but bear with me on this. I mean, at one point, a fish swallows his golf ball, he goes to get it, which is like Happy Gilmore trying to get the golf ball from the alligator. And then at one point, a dog grabs the golf ball and runs off, and it ends up the dog has a collection of golf balls. Which is much like Happy Gilmore when he dives into the water and there's a whole bunch of golf balls there and he has to figure out which one is his. So so again, I say this is much like the 1920s version of Happy Gilmore. But anyway, so I mean, there's a crowd that's watching and they're just they're laughing at him because he's so bad at this game. And but there's a jailhouse nearby, and it turns out that a prisoner escapes, and of course the whistle is blown and policemen run out to go and find this prisoner. Now this is one of those that does not have the Keystone Cop element. This is no. So despite it being a comedy, it does not have Keystone Cops, which is a little surprising, but okay. So anyway, the cops are running around trying to find this prisoner, and you go back to Buster, and he has somehow knocked himself out with his own golf ball. Again, he's just terrible. He's a terrible golfer. But the prisoner finds him, and there's a clothing swap. Prisoner runs off in Buster's clothes, and Buster finds himself in the prisoner clothing, and the cops, of course, find him, and Buster tries to run off, as only Buster can do. The way that he does it, it's been used in other movies, and so it's classic Buster Keaton. Yeah, it's it's what we expect from Buster. But he ends up in the jail, and just you know, the nonsense that goes on with the inmates and everything. Of course, he is Convict 13. And one thing I will say is you realize that Convict 13 is supposed to be executed, and they go go through that, and he does. Little spoiler, he avoids that in a comical way. Now, a few things about this film is this is one of the rare times where both his parents show up. You know, usually Joe Keaton, his dad, shows up in quite a few of his films, be it even with Roscoe Arbuckle, the Roscoe and Buster films, or even just his own films when later he went solo, you know, when they, and, but this is one where his mom shows up in the film as well. So both his parents and himself are in the film. And it turns out that Edward Cline shows up in this film. And And I think this is the only one, I could be wrong, I think this is the only one where Edward Cline shows up in a film that he directed, but again, I could be wrong on that. I don't remember ever seeing where he shows up in a film that he directed. Now, this is a film that has a, a vaudeville gag that they did that's one of the most dangerous that they ever performed. And I found a description of what the gag was. One of the best ways to describe it is Buster would stand on a table in back of his father, twirling a basketball tied to the end of a rope, while his father was trying to shave with a straight razor. That ball kept getting closer and closer. All of a sudden, bang. Oh, some of the vaudeville acts could get really dangerous. I mean, those shows like Fear Factor and or the talent shows and everything, and they talk about some of the dangerous stuff. Vaudeville could get pretty dangerous too. So, but yeah, in this movie, they one of the stunts that the Keaton family did in vaudeville is performed in this movie. But anyway, so this film was released in 1920. It is Convict 13.